Hello there. Welcome back to our second Delightful Discussions Lunch and Learn. I'm Mariah Young. I'm your hostess. I am the First Impressions director with 48 Days and the CEO of the Gals Community, which is a free community in Facebook. Today, I have a question for you. Do you have a book that you need to write? Stay tuned. I have Jennifer Harshman with me today who is going to share how you can do that. Hi there. Welcome back. So I hope you guys will join us today. And this is a hard one for me today. I actually lost a very dear aunt to me yesterday. We got the news. I think I am still in shock, to be honest. It hits me randomly. And what was really hard was knowing that she was somebody who lived such a full life. She lived her life the way she wanted to. She built a beautiful life that most of us could only dream of in Hawaii. And I am inspired by her. As a kid, I remember her as just such a fun auntie. She had a little convertible blue bug that she would drive us around in, and we just thought she was so fun, and she was. I wanted to cancel today. I really wanted to cancel everything on my calendar today because I just want to mourn. But as I thought about it, I realized my auntie was an amazing lady. She truly lived an amazing life. And the best way to honor her today is to do the things that I have set up to do, the opportunities that I have. And I can share with you one of the reasons I'm extremely excited to share Jennifer Harshman with you today is because she had a story. She had an amazing story. And my hope is that between myself and her family, we might be able to share that at some point someday. But I don't know if that will be able to happen. And I believe we all have a story to share. I believe our message and our story is so important. It's too important. And so to honor her today, I am continuing with this interview. I am extremely excited to share Jennifer with you because if you have a story to write or you have a book that you have said for years that you want to write, don't wait. You are not promised tomorrow. And truly, everyone needs to hear your story. So Jennifer is a publisher. She does everything from just helping you write your story to ghostwriting to completely publishing a book, and has worked with amazing authors, many that you would know. And she has information for you on how to write your book. She has so many resources, everything from freebies to a book to walk you through it to a DIY program. And I am sharing this today so that hopefully you will be inspired and you too will write your story and take Jennifer up on her resources. So without further ado, I bring to you today, Jennifer Harshman. Yay.
Thank you for having me, Mariah. Sorry, I'm a little...
I know, I'm sorry.
There are so many people who die with their stories still in them. And that's a big reason why I do what I do, because I don't want that to happen to other people. So
yeah, we had a good cry before this even started. So we're already in it, guys. Yeah. But you know what? I am okay with that. I'm okay with that. Let's be raw today. Let's share your information because we know how important it is, right?
Right.
Yeah. So Jennifer, all right, let's jump in. And will you please share with us really quickly? I know we've done this before, but we may have a completely different audience today. So I don't want to be remiss in making sure that we share your story first. Can you share with us how you got into being a publisher?
Sure. Many, many years ago, I was looking for something that I could do at home, um, around my children's schedule. They had some special needs. I had a lot of health issues, and so holding down a typical 9 to 5 job just was not going to happen. And a friend of mine reached out for some help with an assignment her boss had given her, and she had me subcontract that and edit a couple of books. And that was the start. That was in 2003, so 20 years ago now. And piece by piece, I went from just copy editing to now I have a full agency. So like you said, we cover it, from cover to cover and beyond.
Awesome. I love that. Um, you've probably seen a lot of changes too. Can you
Definitely.
share with us maybe some of your wins, some of your favorite parts about doing what you do?
Oh my goodness. My favorite
You can pick
part.
more than one.
Oh gosh. So just a few minutes ago, Phil Mershan shared on Facebook a video where he was unpacking a box of author copies of his book. And that moment when the author holds their book in their hands there's just nothing like it. I've seen it over and over and over. And a lot of my authors will take a selfie and they'll send it to me, or they will share it on Facebook or other social media platforms, and they'll tag me and thank me for my part in it. And just that joy that they have, and seeing them come through the whole process. Because, at the beginning, almost everybody thinks, I can't do this. Like, it's a huge project, or it'll take way too long, or there's so many misconceptions that we have. So helping them break down those misconceptions and replace them with truth, and walking them through that whole emotional roller coaster all the way to they're holding their book.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a lot because I don't, if you've never been a content creator, you've never, even from a post to as great as that is, the book, you're putting you out there, a piece of you. So you've also written books.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share a little bit about that process, even as a publisher, what that was like?
Well, I can tell you about this most recent one, for adults that I did. I did write a children's book, but Your Book Bakery, Making It Easy to Write a Book, came out of the group coaching program that I lead nonfiction authors through. Oh, nice. Thank you, Mariah.
Mm-hmm.
The people in the group had asked me if I would write them a book. And so I just asked a clarifying question. I said, okay, I wrote you a manual for this program. You do have that, right? And they're like, yeah, we have that. But could you do more? Could you actually write us a whole book? So I thought about it for about a heartbeat. And I was like, okay, I will do that for you. And so a couple weeks later, I handed them the draft, and I showed them they can do exactly what I'm telling them that they can do. And I did it in 2 weeks, whereas they have 12. So
there you go. Now you're an expert at this, though. So this must have been easy for you, right?
If you can follow a recipe to bake a cake, you can write a helpful nonfiction book.
I love it. I love it. So let's go on the author journey. I find and I feel like so many people are intimidated by the pie in the sky, abstract. I want to write a book.
Mm-hmm.
Can you start with let's share what some of the struggles might be for someone who is thinking about writing a book?
Okay. There are a lot of mental struggles, so a lot of mental hurdles, and it's because of misconceptions. So some really common ones are the amount of time it's going to take. People think that they have to take a year off, a year sabbatical to write a book, because some people do that. They hear about someone who did that. Well, I don't have a year to take off. I have a family. I have a job or a business. I have all these responsibilities. So they think that means they can't write a book. Or other people think it's very complicated and there's so much research that has to go into it, and that's very energetically draining, and I don't have the time or energy to invest right now. So they set it aside. And other people know that there are many moving parts that go into it, and they think the complexity is too much for me to handle. So they set that dream aside too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so many reasons. And I think our goal today is to make it easy for you guys. As Jennifer and I were talking, like I said, she has everything from some freebies to her book to hold your hand through the process, a DIY, several options for those of you who are thinking, I need to write a book. We want you to do that. And let me tell you, Jennifer is such a resource. So today, I want you to connect with her. I want you to get on her email list and start learning how you can write a book, how you can get your story onto paper, or I guess today, digitally on paper.
Yep.
So, Jennifer, can you share with us you have a freebie, top 12 reasons, I think. You tell me what it is. I'm going to say it wrong. I just know
So,
it.
sticking with the baking theme, it's a dozen reasons to write a book. And I also slip in a couple not to.
Oh, I love that. Can you share a couple of those with us?
The number one reason, and the one that I really resonate with and really am drawn to helping people who have this reason, is to make a difference in the world. So if you want to serve other people and you want to do it in a way that is smart and makes good use of your time, a book can be an excellent way to do that. So putting your effort into helping one person, that's great. And that helps one. But if we write a book and you could help 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 or beyond, that's even better.
Awesome. I love that. Okay. Can we do one more? Because that was
Sure.
really good.
Sure. Another one is to tell your story or the story of other people that you bring in. So that can help to, it might be thought leadership that you're trying to make a sea change in people's perceptions about a certain thing. It might be that you're trying to grow your business or help other people grow their business. Mariah, there's so many great reasons to write a book.
There really are. I agree. And I think my number one reason that I feel people need to write a book is, and it really goes along with your first one, really, but is to share their story. Because right when we share our stories, you're going to help somebody. There's somebody out there that needs to hear your story for whatever it is they're going through life, to bring hope and inspiration. And for me, that is a huge reason to do that. And with what I do, I believe every woman has a story. I'm sure every man does as well. I work with women, but that's just, my niche. And I think it's so important that we tell those. Not only does it give power in such a new and open way, like you said, you could help one person or you could help many people. So it is so important. What would you say is the best way? And maybe we look at this from a DISC point of view, since we know each personality will do this differently, right?
This is true.
What would you say would be the best way to take the first steps in writing a book?
The first step is to decide whom it is you're serving and what you want to do for them. So if you have this audience and you want to take them from point A to point B, what do those points look like? And how will you get them there? And those types of questions will help you to determine exactly what type of book you should be writing first.
Oh, I love that. You mean we don't just write a book?
You might write several, Mariah.
Oh, that's true. But I'm a high I. So of course, yes, absolutely. Why is that so important?
Well, when you know who it is, you want to begin with the end in mind. That's, what Stephen Covey taught us, right? If you want to get somewhere, you need to know where that is, and then you can map it out. And that also takes away a lot of those mental roadblocks that people will throw up to keep themselves from moving forward. If you know exactly what needs to go in your book and where, then when you sit down to write, you know what to write.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're so right. And I think, in my world, what I say is you have to define it to design it.
Oh, I love that.
And I think I'm finding it's true in every area of life. You start with no end in mind, kind of like the Cheshire Cat says, right?
Yes.
You're going to get somewhere.
Yep.
But I guess it doesn't matter where you get to if you don't know where you want to go.
Right.
Awesome. So Jennifer, we in talking about a lunch and learn today. So those would be the first steps.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you find that a lot of authors, so let's say they take those first steps, they're starting their book, they buy your book and they're like, hey, I'm going to do this on my own.
Mm-hmm.
We know books are great and things are awesome, and going for it for yourself. But where do you see people get held up and maybe stuck on their author journey?
Well, I think it depends quite a bit on their disc type. So your high Ds are the ones who they might not even get started because they are, busy putting out so many fires, or they got so many different projects that they're doing, and they want something that they can just jump in and do and be done with. And writing a book can be complicated. So they might be, trying to outsource it, but maybe they don't know all of the steps. And so it's one of those things that, might not even get started. And if they do, then they are the ones who tend to publish before the piece is ready. So if you've seen a lot of business books and self-development and things like that, books like that are out there that have a lot of typos in them, it might have been a high D author.
Okay. And D is driven, for those who don't know,
Yes.
or we call it an eagle these days. And what might be some steps? I love this. Let's go right down the line. But what would be some steps you would suggest for that problem?
So for a D, I would suggest working with someone who knows all of the different steps and who can kind of project manage with them. And then setting aside some focused time where they can do their drafting and dump out all of their ideas and then hand it to someone who can shape that up.
I love that. And by the way, let's definitely plug in here that you do have an author style consultation where you can help people to figure out what their author style is and the best way to go about writing that book.
Yes.
And so also plugging that you are just the coach that can walk them through that process.
Well, thank you.
You also have ghostwriting services as well, I understand.
Yes. And a lot of Ds, those are the ones that tend to use ghostwriters the most.
Yeah, I could totally see it. That would be my husband. He is a very high eagle and he's not about the details, and that's okay. He would be, but he has a story too. So I would want him to get it out.
Yes.
All right. How about our eyes, our parrots and interactive personality?
So, what might stop them is that they're really social. So they think I have to hole up in a mountain cabin and no technology and write a book that way. And it's big misconceptions. So if they do get past that and decide to write a book, they're the ones that are the most likely to join a writer's group. And that could be really good if it's run really well. Otherwise, it tends to be more about the social aspect, and there's more talking about writing than actual writing going on.
Yes.
So,
and do you run a group like that?
I do. And there, my job is to provide the structure and the accountability so that they can make their progress in a timely manner, following a schedule. I say that what is fun gets done. So you rhymed while ago, and I'm like, I love the rhyme.
Yes.
So my job is to help them to stay on track while still having a really good time.
That's so key. And again, having the right coach to help move you along in the process, because eyes, we can have squirrel syndrome too. Like, oh, all these different things. And sometimes, as much as we can handle a lot, we also sometimes need to have someone help us, really focus and get things done. Right. So that's awesome. Okay. Next is our S, or dove, steady personality. What is their holdup going to be?
They put other people and other things first and put their own desires and needs last.
Yes.
They're living up to other people's expectations, and those are the ones who are least likely to finish writing a book. They might start one, but they're the
Mm,
ones you hear about like, yeah, I've been working on it for like 10 years now. And with them, my job is to help them by giving them my expectations for them to live up to and encourage them to
mhm.
set and defend their boundaries, schedule some writing time, make it a priority, things like that, because they deserve to achieve their dreams too.
Yeah, I agree. And they can tend to, yeah, think of themselves last. So that is a really great. And so steps for them would be, it sounds like, you want to just reiterate those?
Sure. It's setting aside time. So prioritizing, putting it into your calendar, defending those boundaries. I had one
Mhm.
lady that I worked with, and she was like the quintessential S and the give, give, give until there was nothing left. And so I
Mm.
told her, I said, you know what? Your youngest child is now an adult. You can tell other people at the end of this program, then I can help you. But for right now, I have my own things to do. And I tell you,
Mm.
it was the hardest thing for her to do.
Mm.
But as soon as she kind of set those boundaries and put her foot down, amazing things started happening.
Yay. And honestly, the reminder of the return of investment for them is that the relationships and the people they're going to impact by doing that
Yes.
is going to be so huge. And
Mhm.
they sometimes, I think, appealing to their, their need for that relationship can be so good because
Mhm.
you know, they can understand it from the viewpoint of you're going to impact so many people's lives.
Yes.
I love that. Okay. And certainly last but not least, because we went in the actual disc order, which I hardly ever do anymore, because D's and I's are actually the smallest percentage of groups, and S and C are actually the largest.
Mm.
But that being said, we're going to go ahead and go in that order, anyways. So, our C, we actually have stopped calling it conscientious thinker and have called them creatives, and they are the owl. What
Mhm.
will be their holdup?
Perfectionism.
Yes.
So being detail oriented and concerned about doing things properly, those are great things. I don't want to disparage that at all. That can make things take a really long time because the person might be afraid to make mistakes. They might be afraid that they've overlooked something. And so
Mhm.
these are the people that you hear about, like it's been 20 years that they've been working on their book. And one gentleman that I worked with came to me and said, I've been writing my book for 12 years now,
Mm.
and I'm still on chapter one.
Oh, ouch.
And it
Yeah.
was the fear of overlooking any kind of facts that were involved in his
Mhm.
book. That research, they can get stuck in that. So, your owls can definitely get stuck in all of the knowledge aspects of
Mhm.
writing a book. So, with that, we want to encourage them that we will take care of all of the details that are pertinent
Yeah.
when it is time to do that. And when you're writing your first draft of your book, that is not the time to be doing all of your detail oriented research and things like that. And I've got a cool way to help them get over that and
Ooh,
know that we will come back to it when it's time.
that's awesome. And you are somewhat of a perfectionist and precisionist yourself, right?
I am an IDC.
Uh-huh. Yeah. But the beautiful thing about that is you have the personalities that help to move it along to get things done. But then,
Mhm.
when people are working with you, they can trust that you're also very detailed as well. And so it is going to look good. It is going to, be right.
Yeah, I tell
Awesome.
people, the only area of my life in which I am a perfectionist is text. So when it comes to writing, your blog posts, your books, things like that, yes, I want to make them as close to perfect as humanly possible. Other things in my life, the bookshelves behind me that I built, I did not use a level or precision planer, nothing. It's dimension lumber. Took about an hour with a hand drill and some bolts, but it works.
Yep. Yep. And that is a beautiful thing about having all three of those within your personality, really, because you
Right.
do have that ability to balance just getting it done,
Mm-hmm.
but also getting it done right.
Yes. Yes.
I love that. So we really have walked through how you can help each personality.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take that on a list level now. So starting from your freebie, how can people get into your email list, get to contact with you, and start to learn from you?
Okay. There are a couple places they can reach me. I'm on Facebook and I have that tab open almost 24 hours a day. And also at yourbookbakery.com, I have a freebie and you can sign up for my email subscription list there. I only send out about one a week, so you don't have to worry about getting your inbox flooded or spammed or anything like that.
Okay. So, and with that, I think we talked about they are going to get the 12 reasons.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
can
Yep.
you
There'll
say
be
that again?
several different free things that come there.
Awesome. Awesome. And which I think that's a great resource because I have a feeling, I'll be really honest, that people are not even commenting right now. One, because they'll probably be watching the replay. That happens a lot. But two, I have a feeling that so many people are so intimidated by writing a book. I have found it
Mhm.
across the board.
Oh, yeah.
There's fear, there's overwhelm, there's, like you said, misconceptions. And
Mhm.
so a lot of them might even be afraid to ask questions. So it's going to be probably that person that almost secretly,
Mhm.
hunts you down. So I have a feeling that's gonna happen. So good. We have the way that they can get involved without too much
Mhm.
commitment. You're just gonna send information. You're not a spammer. And believe me, Jennifer shares so generously, so much. So definitely do that. What is the next way? So we've got the freebie.
Mhm.
Hopefully at some point they're like, okay, I want to write my book. What is the next level that they can learn from you?
The next level would be to purchase the book that we talked about, Your Book Bakery, Making It Easy to Write a Book. It's
Yep.
available on Amazon, and there is a workbook that goes with it that is content from the book pulled out into just a larger print format. And I also have the Idea Pantry and Writer's Journal that has the same type of cover. So that's a place where they can store all of those ideas. Like, when you
Mhm.
talk about when you start writing, your brain is going to throw up lots of roadblocks for you. And you're going to be like, oh, here's an idea for another book. Oh, there's an idea for another book. And you can shiny object syndrome and follow all those squirrels, or you can capture them and
Mhm.
reassure your brain that you'll come back to them when it's time.
Ooh, I love what you just said there. Reassure your brain. That is right, especially for those high eyes. When you have
Mhm.
that idea and you're like, I need to remember this, your brain is working so hard to remember that, right? And if
Mhm.
anything else comes in, heaven forbid, that's gone out and the next thing has come in.
Right.
So I love that. And you guys, you can get these on Amazon.
Mhm.
So do check that out. That is a very easy way to get started if you're feeling overwhelmed and intimidated.
Yes.
All right. What is the next level? Let's say they've gotten the book. Maybe they haven't gotten the book, but they're also, maybe there's someone more like me that's like, okay, I don't want to do this by myself. I know I won't get it done. I need someone to hold, or actually, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. This might still be the person that's intimidated to work with a coach. Maybe they've never invested in a coach before. You have another area that they can do this on their own,
Mhm.
right?
I call it the self-serve option.
Yeah.
Um, and it is my course, pre-recorded, and they can download it. They can do it at their own pace,
Mm-hmm.
at their own convenience. And then I also have a live version of that where we meet on Zoom for about an hour each week, and they have their writing time in between, and then we meet and we hold each other accountable. We share our wins, we set our goals, and make progress. By the end of that 12 weeks, they have their first draft.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you've got the DIY option, and then you do
Mhm.
have it's kind of a handhold a little bit. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And we won't totally go into these today, but you also have the do it for you. Like you can do all of it from ghostwriting. I mean, why don't you go ahead and share that?
Okay. Well, I have a couple of packages that are like we do a lot of the editing and things like that too, if people want it. And I also give resources if they don't want to come to me, but they want to go to someone else. I give them a resource on what to look for just so they can make sure they're getting a good deal and not getting scammed.
Yes.
That's another big thing in this industry. You have to really be careful. So I have that. And then I have a book development package, which is where they do the writing, but we coach them through the writing, and then we handle everything else. And then they're on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and wherever else they want to be with their book. And then the top level is ghostwriting, where I do the writing or someone on my team does, and we handle all of the rest of it as well.
All right. So, I mean, I feel like from the freebie to the ultimate package, there is no reason for someone not to write their book. I mean, we just took all the excuses away from top to bottom. So Jennifer, we're going to, of course, put how people can get in touch with you. We'll put your website. I don't think I put your Facebook in here already, but obviously it's under Jennifer Harshman, right?
Yes.
Is there anything else that you would like to share before we wrap up today for the good of the order?
One thing that I always like to tell people is kind of like my motto or tagline or whatever. With the right attitude and resources, you can do amazing things. And if you'll choose the first, you will find the second.
I love that. Well, we did good. We weren't too emotional. We were right before we came on. But I just fully believe this is such an important topic. When we talk about, I've even been sharing recently about how even if you don't start a business with your book, I think that can be another thing that can be a holdup, as people think, oh, I'm an author. Now I have to do like all the book tours and all these things.
Right. You
sometimes writing a book is just about writing the book and getting your story out there. And so with these resources that Jennifer has outlined, even the person who is saying, you know what, I don't want to be known necessarily as an author. I don't necessarily want to do a business from my book. Anyone can write a book. And I think you have those tools for that. So thank you for coming today, Jennifer.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right, guys, you saw it here. We took away the excuses. Make sure you connect with Jennifer and get into her system right away. Get in there and make sure that you check her out. So if you have questions, you're watching the replay, please feel free to put them in the comments. I will get those to Jennifer. She is always happy to answer questions. And of course, if we can be of help in any way, please let us know. This will be going out to my audience and then Dan Miller's audience. So I know a lot of you will have some questions for her. So, all right. Have a fantastic week, and we will see you next time. Bye.